3-0. But like I said, it could be a 3-2 if KCorp turn up. And when we look at these two teams' histories, these were the two teams everyone was excited to watch in the RLCS 21-22 season, as they were probably the scariest prospects in the preseason. You know, KCorp were coming in as one of those teams which we thought might go on to make the major, and then fell a bit short. But starting off, this man Astral is one of the big reasons for it. Such a mechanical player, coming in with a great shot far side.
And you love that from Itachi as well. The little hop, skip, and a jump, and then no jump at the end of it to allow his opponent to just to rise completely over the top of him. And then Astral puts it away into the top corner. I mean, Astral, he is such a good player. He is a player that you can just sit on his camera. If you download these replays after they're done, you can just watch him. But Dignitas, all three of them, you can say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, a very different style of good player between Dignitas and KCorp. You know, KCorp mechanically look exceptional, whereas I think Dignitas individually can hold their own in any situation. And right there, Joria's starting off with a great shot. The rotation is the biggest difference between these two teams. You know, the mechanics are pretty much level between them. You know, all three players on the pitch capable of scoring in any situation. But the way Dignitas structure themselves around each other is a lot more scary than the way KCorp do, as we see a goal here for Astral. Firepower at the ready from both teams. Itachi getting the 50-50 off that wall. Apparently Jack trying to predict the touch towards the corner, doesn't quite make it. And Scrub late returning home. Astral with a free goal, 2-1 KCorp.
Yeah, 35 seconds in and already 3 goals. A decent hit rate for viewers, especially neutral viewers. Just want to see as many pretty goals as possible. I've loved what I've seen so far from KCorp, from Itachi. I mean, this is the player who, when he first, came onto the scene with Barca, he was so highly rated. And since moving to KCorp, he's just slowed down a little bit. You know, we know what he is capable of. He can pull the strings. He can make any teammate in the world look even better than they are. So you're thinking, okay, sticking with Astral, it's going to be absolutely perfect. And often with KCorp, as it has so many times for teams of Astral, and it has to be said, it's not quite worked out like that. But already in the first minute or so, we're just seeing Itachi involved in everything, whether it's fakes, whether it's following up and just being the first man there and having that confidence to play in front of the ball, or whether it's just getting clean touches. And this is the version of Itachi we want to see, comfortable with 0 boost and just making KCorp look as good as they can be.
Yeah, and I do not deny that KCorp can score lots of goals. We see them creating opportunities for themselves over and over again, but almost similar to that of FaZe in North America, we don't doubt their offensive firepower. It's how they structure in defense and how many goals they give away for free just through bad positioning around each other, or over commitment towards the play. Very frequently, KCorp find themselves too close to the ball and not able to make a solid play on the ball. And if that continues, then Dignitas will outplay them. But right now, they're seeming to be spread out, structured well, not overcommitting. So it's a good sign for KCorp.
Yeah, good patience there from Jory. He's not to dive into that ball too quickly. He seems to have sensed that Itachi is trying to mix up the pace, and now he's trying to do the same right back to him, so he doesn't completely dictate how this game is played. But he's still managing to, forcing that one into the center and making Scrubkiller make a save towards apparently Jack. It's actually a really nice pass there towards apparently Jack, and that gets Dignitas going. Now Scrubkiller up, trying to close this one down. It's Joris that it's going to fall to eventually. Opts to go for the 50-50 in the air. I was wondering if he'd let Astral just do his thing and wait for the ball to bounce, but instead making sure Astral doesn't ever get all that time on the ball, and eventually the ball drops to Scrubkiller.
I like that. The follow-through bump on the clear there from Astral, just taking away that third from in the form of Scrubkiller. Now, Scrubkiller is covering in the midfield, but he's on low boost, so you see he can't really do a huge amount with that ball. And that all just comes back to that Astral demo on the follow-through, breaking up the structure for Dignitas. And we see the same play there from Scrubkiller on the second.
And another one there. See you later, Itachi. You're not allowed to play ball. Apparently, Jack tries to prod it towards Scrubkiller, but it's saved by Astral, and that's going to send Dignitas all the way back. And Steak avenges his teammate just to say, don't worry, mate, we got you. Don't get dunked. That's what I'm thinking right now as Jorius arrives. He comes to the backboard. It's not going to quite go in. Almost a piece of brilliance there from Jorius, but apparently Jack can keep the attack going. He goes to the ceiling, gets another couple of touches, tries to change the direction of the ball. Scrubber's arriving, and KCorp showing that they can defend as well.
And you see it on the rotation out from Dignitas every time, looking to get that boost still, looking to get some bumps, keep that pressure on, take away options for the defense as it allows them to open up that space. All three of these Dignitas players so good in the 1v1 situation. So if you get a demo, turns it into a 2v2. If there's another player out the game, 1v1. Boom, you've got your favored situation as a team. And they're going to continue going for those bumps here. Apparently Jack off the backboard, sends it home, just below the crossbar. Fantastic play from Dignitas and an amazing finish from Jack, jumping up backwards. What a legend.
I feel like you do not teach that in Rocket League school. If you're saying, look, I want to make it to Supersonic Legend, the first thing you'd say would be don't play backwards. It just does not work. But apparently, Jack, he is good enough to break the rules. You know, his mechanics are that good that it doesn't matter that it's not the norm and it's a little bit odd. He makes it work. And then to finish that with a double tap is really, really special. 4 goals now in this first game. This is just turning into an absolute party.
Yeah, there's definitely questions right now which out of Jorius and apparently Jack is the mechanical outplayer. And I think as of recently, it's been more Jack than Jorius. You know, through the full split, Jorius looked like one of the best players in the world. The things he was capable of were incredible, but Jack has really been working on his mechanics, his outplay ability. As we see Dignitas go ahead 3-2. Apparently Jack to finish it off. The disruptive play though from apparently Jack into Scrub Killer. The goal line defense just not quite there for KCorp.
I mean, the goal line defense wasn't there, but you can see why. The angle that Scrub Killer forced was not what they expected. I think they expected the pass back instantly to apparently Jack. So Scrub Killer just forcing that shot to the near post, they managed to deal with it as best they could. But because Dignitas' comms are so good, apparently Jack already knew what Scrub Killer was doing before Scrub Killer did it, and that meant he could react fastest. And we have, for the first time in this series, I believe, a Dignitas lead. 25 seconds left for KCorp to come back, but it's Dignitas all the pressure right now. They're starting to style the first touch of the work, and does he go for the bump? He does. Astral just about saves it. Scrub Killer's shot is over the top of the backboard, and can Karmine Corp get a touch on it? Stake tries to edge it out, gets a really good dunk, but Scrub Killer was there. He was watching it the whole time. Astral has to do something absolutely astounding to even send this ball towards the Dignitas goal. It's a pass. Itachi shoots. Scrub Killer, defensive stalwart, takes it away. Gonna try and get one more touch on this one. Dignitas survive a little bit of pressure at the end to take that first game.
Yeah, Dignitas warmed up through that game, refocused on what kind of an opposition they're against. You know, their first series was a 3-0, so it can sometimes send you in a little bit cold when you come up against a team as mechanical as KCorp. You know, you have to start changing the read of the play a lot faster, a lot more mechanical, and they definitely tuned into that towards the end of that game and looked like the stronger team.
Now, fellas, if I may chime in, okay? You know I'm looking at some of the other series, and we got a deuce of a series going on. Endpoint versus Williams to Solve is currently on a 7-minute overtime.
Oh my.
Wow.
7-minute overtime. No team wanted to budge. Both teams playing good. That is kind of where my eyes are for the most part. Gale just won, I believe, 4-0 against Vitality.
Oh my.
Cookser versus Misfits. We had 1-1 in games. Misfits is currently up 2-0 with half the game still to go. But this overtime, 7:20 right now.
Well, anyone wants to watch this overtime, twitch.tv/endpointtv is one place you can go, or Williams Resolve. I'm not sure what their stream name is, but I'm sure if you type in
RSVGG off the top of my head, I might be wrong there.
This guy, he is good. He remembers all the things.
Yeah, but if I'm wrong, I don't look very good anymore, do I?
You know everything, Regan. You know everything.
Exactly. And for the sake of the magic of television, I think it's true.
No, it's completely off. It's Resolve POV, so we're nowhere near. I think that might be their Twitter or something. Oh, I don't know. Well, we got you the information in the end. Go check it out. 8 minutes now in their overtime. But we are here with Karmine Corp versus Dignitas going into game 2. Dignitas taking the first one with a lead towards the end of the game. And I'm sure you're all excited to see a mechanical lobby full of these players. You know, some very popular names here. KCorp, one of the most popular teams in RLCS. Massive following over there on their team stream. But of course, Dignitas with Scrub Killer, apparently Jack and Jorius. 3 very popular players, mostly due to their 1v1 ability, but the highlights these guys pull off are amazing. As Astral backboard, apparently Jack keeping it away. Stake has to get a powerful shot on target. Jack recovers in time and sends it away, but they're not out of it yet as they've got to clear this ball away.
Apparently, Jack always thinking of that next play, not just get the save, land in such a way that you can then save the next shot that will inevitably be flying in. A little bit of good Jack defending right there, but it was from good KCorp attacking. Astral's touch deserts him for once, and Itachi has to scramble backwards to get this Scrub Killer hit. Now, apparently, Jack, just look at the angles that he forces. He is just making KCorp think every time he gets control of that ball, because he can force it to go anywhere, right? And if you manage to get it past Jack, you've got Jorius to deal with. It is just not a fun thing at all playing up against Dignitas, especially when they're feeling it and they're getting these bumps. KCorp defend for now, but as we saw in that last game, Gregan, it took a few minutes in the last one, but this time it's taken about 1 for Dignitas to really have full control of everything.
Yeah, as the defense against Dignitas, you're asking so many questions. What are they going to do here? Am I going to get bumped? Am I going to lose my boost? Are they going to go for a spicy aerial player? Are they going to keep it grounded? What is the option they're going to take here? Are they going to string it together with passes? They do that there, but Jorea's shot not so desirable, as that gives KCorp a bit of a chance here to reset. You know, the players building up their boost again, finding themselves in stronger positions, but it is still in Dignitas' control. Just so much creativity from this Dignitas offense. Every attack looking completely different.
Dignitas absolutely desperate to, 1, go to LA, and 2, go to LA with a regional victory under their belt. Anything less than that, sorry, even breaking into that top 5 for a team this good, that is failure. That is not good enough. They want to show that they are here to win. They're here to fake. They're here to score. And it so nearly worked there. Itachi had to keep his concentration up to 100 to get that save, and it might work out as well in return. Itachi again pulling all the strings, stake up against apparently Jack. The KCorp still can't win, and while the last game was a bit of a banger, this one's a little bit slower. Ooh, until I say that, and then there's the goal.
You just see here, like, the way they play as a unit. You know, apparently Jack disrupting the play upfield. It goes straight into possession of Scrubkiller. And Scrubkiller rolls that over to Joreas. And it was not an easy finish. Joreas having to put a lot of power on that ball and accuracy to go under the charging defender. You know, that's...
Bleep, 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 bleep. Sorry, that's the overtime alarm. It's 10 minutes in that endpoint versus Williams resolve overtime. Apparently, it's the 6th longest overtime in RLCS history as of right now.
For a moment there, I thought I'd fallen asleep. That sounds like my morning alarm when I wake up.
Does it? Do you have the most ugly sounding alarm possible just to really force you out of bed?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have an ugly alarm for an ugly person, so you just sort of match everything in your own home. But we see here Dignitas. Oh, what's wrong?
You're very beautiful, Gregor, no matter what the people say, okay? Ignore chat, all right? You are good looking. It's fine.
Oh, I'll tell you what's good looking is a nice shot here from Itachi to the near post as that ball was centered by Astral. Very much looking like he was going to shoot there, but chooses to find Itachi. He's very tight to him. You know, that kind of positioning, not normal amongst the top teams, but KCorp happy to play that tight to each other. Very in sync. Astral drops it down for Itachi. Great shot. 1-1 the score.
I'm all for, you know, double flip resets and stealing plays and all the fancy schmancy stuff, but I do just love a bullet shot that's clearly been considered and thought about and goes into the place where the defenders cannot go. Like we just saw from Itachi, just clean and powerful and exactly what you need. I've got a very soft spot for it. And Itachi, his shooting has always been one of his assets. Astral has all the assets in the world. Look at him coming from the ceiling now, but apparently Jack just takes it off his toes and sends it back for Dignitas. It's definitely a nervier, closer second game, whereas the first one, it was all fun and games until Dignitas really wrestled that control. Astral's coming in again.
Excuse me, guys.
Not quite there. Go on. Sorry, mate. Jump in. What's going on?
I just need to report. Williams Resolve just won after 12 minutes and 13 seconds of overtime against Endpoint.
Whoa.
That's a long old game. That's one to take a bit of a pause afterwards. You know, take a deep breath, because that is a lot of Rocket League in a row. I'm intrigued to know how that game finished as well. I mean, a lot of you at home will have been tuning into that to see what happened, but I want to know if it was ended with a mistake or an incredible outplay. You know, you really want to see those end with a superb shot. Scrubkiller in the final minute here takes Dignitas ahead, as that was good little... Look, Joreas just drawing everyone in. And then Astral getting dunked by Scrubkiller. Astral should have been able to get that one away, but, you know, it's hard to read the oncoming Joreas just beforehand. And so he found himself a bit mispositioned, and Scrubkiller takes him ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was very critical of a dunk from the person who got dunked in the last series, whereas that one, I feel that Scrubkiller was a little bit more disguised, probably hidden behind the ball. Oh, the sky's there! Oh my goodness, the sky is the limit for apparently Jack. He gets a flip reset, then he goes under 2 of them, but the KCorp defense do manage to keep him out for now. Can they turn it into anything? That pass from apparently Jack is a little bit wayward and desperate. Itachi's pinch isn't quite there. And now Joreas can go for another little pass. Ah, so close that was, and how good would it have been?
Yeah, you saw it was so good that even Joreas, who was the receiver in the middle, couldn't read it. And sometimes that's the downfall of the incredible outplays, is your teammates can't even tell what's going to happen here. But a fantastic demo there from Astral and Joreas, taking the possession away from him. Itachi able to come in and roll that ball home.
I mean, the year is 2022, and if you look at the scoreboard, it says 2022. So that's fate or something. This is going to be a good year for all of us. So enjoy, everybody. 2-2. KC have managed to bring it back to up against Dignitas. One end they survive. The second end they get that second goal that they were so desperate for. Now, can they really put themselves in this series? It's a good 50-50 from Astral. Is it falling in? Not quite. Apparently Jack catches, but can't quite get past Itachi. Ball's falling onto that goal, but Stake and Astral so far back now. I think that KCorp are just about starting to settle for overtime. They will really feel they can take this one, but there is a chance to win it before. Stake to the backboard. Itachi follows up. Neither can get it on target, and it is indeed overtime.
And this has been a close first game. We saw a 3-2 victory. It's going to be a 3-2 victory here, but in favor of who? KCorp will struggle to reverse sweep this Dignitas team, so they really need to win this one now to make it 1-1 in the series. So we see Astral try and take control. Itachi on the backboard. Not a very good first touch. He's going to have to start air dribbling it. Dignitas are just going to wait, try and take control of that ball. As we see, this is now in favor of Dignitas, all from that misread on the backboard from Itachi. Astral lurking in the middle. You know, sometimes that's KCorp's biggest downfall, is they break themselves down with missed touches. But Itachi onto the back wall, can't quite double it himself. Stake turning in favor of Dignitas. As we see now, Itachi flying up as the final person. This is an opportunity now for Joris to clear it away. He can follow this up and take the boost steal. He's going to come through for the demo. You see Astral just having to dive into the net to avoid the demo. Gets demoed by the second player. Everything you have to decide, is it worth avoiding the bump here? And you get away with the first one, and there's another one coming in.
No!
Just constantly on the prowl for the demo.
Oh, you have to feel so sorry for KCorp right now. They can't pick up any boost, because as soon as they do, it just fades away from the pitch. The demo comes in. It's a great shot, but it is just the result of so much pressure, Gregan. Eventually, something is going to give, especially when the shooting fire a wave dash as good as that. Oh, poor KCorp.
Scrub Killer just landing on Itachi. You want to block this one, Itachi. Unfortunately, you got to get away from Scrub Killer being a nuisance. Jack was a nuisance on the backboard. Joria's got a demo. So physical here from Dignitas, and it just made KCorp look so uncomfortable on the defense. And that's got to be a real tilter for them there, as they just never felt comfortable, as there was so much disruption from the Dignitas rotate out.
Explosions going off everywhere here, but Orb, where else have they been going off?
Well, I mean, I'm still kind of recuperating after that, what was it, a 12-minute overtime. But yeah, there is tons of action going on. A lot of matches being played at the same time. I'm checking out Rick's GG versus Evil Genius. Rick's currently up 2-1 in the series. Currently, Evil Genius is up 2-1 in, that would be game number 4. Queso versus Zero Nation, that was tied up. Well, Zero Nation was up 2-0 in the series, but the last potentially final third game was tied up until very recently, but now Queso's up 4-2. So it looks like Queso has awoken a little bit. And then Endpoint versus Williams Resolve. They're halfway through the game, 0-0. Potential new overtime. Will it be 12 minutes? Who knows? All right, let's see if it actually goes to overtime. But Gregan, listen. Yes, hit me.
I've got a question for you. What's happening in the Gregan derby, the Guild versus Vitality, the old teams I used to coach? Who's winning that one?
Let's see. Guild versus Vitality. Let's jump in. Guild, it's currently 1-1 in the series. Guild is up 1-0 in game 3.
I've got so much love for every team that I've worked with, every player that I've worked with, and I think that's always tough to watch them have to play against each other. But I think right now the real player I want to watch is Scrub Killer here on Dignitas, just being so perfect for these two players. Apparently Jack and Joris, they fit so well as a unit. I think a lot of people's favorite teams out there, just because the way they play is so entertaining, and it seems to work mighty effective against most teams in the region. Only recently really struggled with Queso and BDS in form. So we've got to see, like you said, this is going to be a regional they want to win, isn't it, Cole?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I mean, such is the dominance that they have over KC, despite the close score lines. You know, that sort of forced demo meta that they had at the last of the second game. You can't force that. Do you know what I mean? You can't just suddenly decide, hey, we're going to demo them and get them 6 times in a row. You have to have more boost. You have to have them penned back. You have to keep your rotation going as well so you don't overcommit and concede a silly goal. So much you have to do when you're Dignitas to make that happen. And KC will just be praying that Dignitas can't do that against them again. It's a much better start to this game for KC than it was the end of the last one. Had a couple of chances, even though a ball almost fell into their goal earlier on when they overcommitted just a tiny bit. But up to that, it's been pretty even up to now, unless apparently Jack can change out of that pass. No, good speed from Astral.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be the question with KCorp. Are they positioned in a way they can utilize their mechanics and speed? There is no doubt that you put KCorp in a favorable position and they can't score a goal. They can't string together a series of magical touches. But we've seen a few times where they've conceded. It's just been through a slight misposition in defense, facing slightly the wrong direction, being a bit too static, being out of boost, whatever it is. They put themselves in uncomfortable positions and then aren't able to use their mechanics to shine. And a lot of that comes down to the Dignitas demo plays, because that's what puts them in those uncomfortable positions. But 0-0 to start with here. Pretty good neutral game from both sides. Neither team really biting anyone in and taking them out of the game. Just keeping that ball in the midfield as we see Scrubkiller center it to Jack. He's going to send it straight back, string a few passes together. Jory has not really many options here as he's low on boost, not much momentum. That's going to go back into the favor of KCorp. And is that a goal right there?
Oh. It's like Dignitas can just force a goal out of absolutely nothing, can't they? They don't seem to have a default way of playing. You know, everybody says Jory's and apparently Jack, they'll go solo. But actually, if you look at how they approach each individual play, it changes it. Okay, so on that occasion, it was a fake, right? Apparently Jack fakes it to Jory's. Sometimes they go demo mode. Other times they do, of course, go solo. That might almost be creeping in from stake, not quite. But they just have so much adaptation on the fly. It doesn't always have to be fancy. But goodness me, we know they can go fancy when they have to. Now it's just accuracy they're looking for. Quite having any there. They'll go again. Itachi's going to try and get KCorp back in it. He's looked like he's been slowed down a little bit after the tremendous start he had to this series. And that's because Dignitas, they have just been warming up game by game and play by play.
Yeah, they have to. And you say about their creativity and how deliberate it seems, right? You know, these guys, they choose to do something and they make it happen. And that's just credit to the way these guys train. Like I've heard a lot, especially on apparently Jack's streams, you know, he'll score a goal and he won't be happy with it because it's not what he intended to do. And that's such a different mindset to so many players in this scene. You know, a lot of the KCorp goals will have come from just sort of making it up on the fly, whereas everything from Dignitas is so deliberate, so intended, and that's where they're so dangerous to play against because they're in control of every decision they make. And we see here KCorp getting away with it, managing to scrape it away. You got excited over the Scrubkiller flip reset off the backboard, just another mechanic you can name. And we see Doriez fast in the air, Scrubkiller centering it high, and you cannot beat the speed of some of these players. Look how fast he is up to that ball.
He takes his boost off for about 0.2 seconds at the end there because his trajectory is so perfect. He barely had to adjust his car with a little spinneroonie on the way as well for good measure. And then just absolutely bangs it. Sharp angles there for that Jory's finish. But credit as well to Scrubkiller. That pass to Jory's was absolutely perfect. You know, put into the most difficult position of all to defend. And now Dignitas are having some fun. There's pre-jumps going on. They're sort of getting each other's way though. They have to be careful they don't overcommit and do anything silly. This series is far from over, especially when you have opponents with the skill of KCorp on the other side. But all it takes is one pass. They have the out, and they probably now have the series.
Just look at Joriez on low boost here, comes down from the wall, keeps that ball shifting around. Astral not expecting that at all, but Jack very much was already pushing himself into position. And at this point, you just can't match this level of team synergy that Dignitas pull off. We said about solo plays, they've got them in the locker. As we're speaking about that, Joriez trying to show off what he's capable of there. But, you know, the way they keep possession, they push the ball towards each other. They keep that ball moving on, never making KCorp comfortable. And then there's that other aspect just there. The demo plays make you uncomfortable. Scrubkiller, after getting the demo, watches his teammate Jack center it,
look at the
demos
speed.
it. Oh, it's beautiful.
Look at the pace off the wall as well from apparently Jack. You know, he bounces off the wall. He jumps onto it. He's already off on one. He's already wave dashing in the right direction that he needs to go to get that demo, to get the pass, to get whatever is needed. Dignitas are like the epitome of a team that they do just need to enjoy themselves. They literally just have to have fun because they have a built-in hierarchy. You know, Scrubkiller is never going to try and out-mechanic Joriez or apparently Jack. But, you know, 21 seconds...
Don't be silly, Cole. Don't be silly. 21 seconds. That was a bit of an overconfidence play right there. Getting a bit too excited. Sending everyone for the ball. They're 3 goals up. This is where they go, okay, right, settle down, guys. New kickoff.
This is where they need a coach, mate. Apparently Jack is saying, guys, we need more flip resets. Go for more demos. Quick. Pre-jump, pre-jump, pre-jump. He's still involved in the game, mate. You know, he doesn't have that overview. Sure, Joriez can muster it after getting a flip reset, and then Scrubkiller can put it away into the top corner after a brilliant pass from somebody else, but they can still mess things up, Gregan.
I'm pretty sure 3 goals is I don't know, they're just having a bit of a laugh now, really, aren't they? Look, like 3 goals is the universal let's start freestyling point. I feel for every team, you go 3 goals up and you're like, right, let's have a bit of fun, let's try something crazy. And we saw that happen. They conceded off the back of it, and then when they went into that final kickoff, they knew that all they had to do was just waste a bit of time. Jorius did so with a little bit of a musty flick that led to a goal, but Dignitas are looking hot. And I said beforehand, I thought it was going to be a sweep, a 3-0 sweep. I don't think that's fair. KCorp looked solid. I think it was a much closer series than that might suggest. But once Dignitas kept going, I think KCorp lost a little bit of that motivation. It just felt like they were an unbeatable team with the way they were playing.
KCorp lost motivation, but hey, Orb, which teams have lost matches and that elsewhere?
Yeah, there are other matches going on. Thank you so much, Cole, for that send-off. Yes, we wanted to look into Ampro versus Williams to solve again, see if it was going to be an overtime. And guess what? There was an overtime. Williams securing the win after a 2-minute overtime. So no, they just cut it down by 10 minutes from the previous overtime. Less Rocket League all around.